Hey guys, it's your girl Sam, your hostess for this video of the project, and it is very informal. I'm sorry, kind of, not really. I'm just welcome. My project that I chose to do for this class was testing the female voice because I wanted to kind of restrict it so that I knew I could get it done. So male and female voices were just a lot to do, so I stuck it with females. After having the meeting with Dr. P, chose to alter the ages because I was really worried about getting enough people or getting all the ages that I would need. So I wanted to do 17, 19, 21 because we feel like those are the people around Central we could get. But after further review, and I downloaded Raven Light in order to get all of that done and find all of the data, cause science. So I kind of explained a little bit of the procedure just in that little blip that I just did. And what you're gonna see next on this video is actually me doing stuff with my participants. So I used a wide range of age, and I made sure to test each of them the same vowels. I had them hold it for a certain period of time. I didn't time it, but I just made sure it was longer than about 4 seconds so that I would have enough to put it through Raven and figure out the differences. When I am putting it through Raven, what I'm looking for is I'm using the spectrogram, and just overall listening to see if there's differences. But it was great that we learned about the spectrogram because that helped me a ton. I was super stoked. So, quick little thing. The background on the human voice was a little bit difficult to find. I didn't really find any historical background because for all people could know is that boom, the earth happened in whatever way you believe, and voice. But that doesn't say when the voice became to be or how the voice became to be or how, you would understand verbalization and forming of words would become later because you would move your mouth around to form sounds that would put together words eventually. And also controlled by air and just all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to read a little bit of a Google blip for you, a little bit of a summary of how the voice works based off of the throat and all of that kind of stuff, and the airflow and the pressure and the vocal cords and all that kind of stuff. So here it goes. The mechanisms for generating the human voice can be subdivided into 3 parts: the lungs, the vocal folds within the larynx, and the articulators. The lung, the pump, must produce adequate airflow and air pressure to vibrate the vocal cords, and this air pressure is the fuel of the voice. So that's basically what I'm going to have in my report once you read it, but long story short, nobody's really sure where the voice started because it kind of depends on your belief. It's just we know what voice is and where you can form words and how to vocalize things, but that's how it happens, and that's the concepts that you have to grasp and understand in order to understand the voice a bit better. So, yeah. And cut to this part because I didn't read all of it. So there's another part, and I asked the question, what is the pitch of a voice? And not pertaining to any specific voice, but just as a generalization for more concept for the background on my report and everything. The pitch of the voice is defined as the rate of vibration of the vocal folds. And that's the things hitting back and forth, or not necessarily hitting, but moving back and forth. And they're essentially the string, or just what has the vibration in order to put everything into the mouth and move it through your mouth. And don't forget that tongue and your mouth position also alters what you sound like, how you're saying something, or anything overall. So there's my side note. Okay, so as a little bit more of a background or a preface to the rest of this video that you're going to see, there's not much more video to see. But what I'm kind of excited about is that I kind of altered my project to, and I kind of changed the objective a little bit. And as I said previously, I'm doing it right now, kind of before I'm turning it in. So here's one of the really cool, exciting things about this. This isn't the results section of the video, so don't worry, I'm not telling you anything yet. There's more video to see, I promise. But it's not just me. I kind of changed my objective and the way that I did this project right now. I have videos and recordings, and I've already gone through Raven using two friends of mine that helped me record, and they're participants on this. But the thing that changed is that for the younger ages I used my two friends. For the middle age of the 40, I used my mom. And for the older age I used my grandmother, my mom's mom. So my Nana, that's what I called her. And while I was putting all of the recordings through Raven, I was really interested. I could see differences, so there's a little bit of foreshadowing. I saw differences. But where I saw things line up as well, but through my mom and my Nana. And kind of, well, duh, because they're family and they're blood related. So my dad suggested that I record my voice, and I kind of didn't think of this at all, so I'll give him credit for it. Record my voice and then compare it to my mom and my Nana, because we're at that perfect age gap. I'm 19, my mom's 48, and my Nana's 73. So we have the age gap that I was looking for, but now I can actually compare them. We're blood relatives, we're actually a female generation over 3 different generations, and I wanted to see not only the differences but the similarities. So yes, I did kind of alter my objective, but I'm just wanting to see the difference between genetics, or sorry, not genetics. I'm just wanting to see the difference between ages for voice. So it wasn't very constricted, but I think that now between me, my mom, and my Nana, I think it's more constricted, which is good, because before I had so many variables, it was kind of insane. So I'm thinking, and I hope you agree after reading my report and watching the rest of the video, that I kind of needed to do this. What you are about to see is basically just the process of it, and I'll come back to let you know more, because I'm a good hostess. I got you. Ooh. Ooh. Yep. Now we have the results. Anyways, as I said kind of before, at the very beginning of this very long video, is that there was a difference. I did find a difference in age, but it kind of went along the non-sciencey thing that I had previously learned, which is where when you get older, I've heard that your vocal cords start to loosen from constant use, age, basically my project. So I will insert a couple snapshots of what I put into Raven and the spectrograms I found, because the spectrograms were much easier to deal with. They show just so much, like the formants pretty clear, harmonics very clear, And I also have, I used questionnaires at the beginning of my research, basically, and I gave one to my Nana and my mom and my friends that you saw previously in the time lapse. My mom and my Nana are both trained vocally. They both are in choir, or they both have done choir. Anyway, what I found in all three of our spectrograms and what Raven processed, I have it in a separate screen, so that's why I'm looking this way. But the lower harmonics, or the fundamentals as well, the main fundamental, is thicker the older you get. I've noticed that my Nana's is thicker than my mom's, but my mom's also thicker than mine. Because I'm younger, my voice is higher than theirs, and I know that for a fact. But also, since they were trained, they also are aware that their voices dropped. I believe my Nana used to sing soprano, and she sings bass in Sweet Annalines now. So that in itself is a pretty big difference. It's just astounding how big of a change that is. And I'm assuming that if you don't have training, you won't really notice the difference as much. But she definitely could, because there was like a label to it and she focused on it and she had to read different music. So that's pretty amazing. Also with the spectrograms, since we're all of the same type of genetic pool, I'm assuming, or just the way that we are together, our formants seem to be very similar. That I could see. The formants and the brightness and how that all works together seemed very similar. And I used all of the same vowel because, I mean, why wouldn't I? But then also, let me just switch screens on myself right here. When I see mine versus my mother's or my Nana's, I have more visual, higher harmonics for myself, clearly. I don't know how to explain it, but the result, the main conclusion, is that your voice does change with age. It does change. And I find it really cool that I now know what my voice is going to kind of be like when I'm older, because of the way my Nana and my mom was. Pretty amazing stuff. I don't know if you got all that, but I mean, if you're watching this, go read my report. It'll be a little bit more clear cut. But yeah, so here's your snapshots. The female voice is different than the male voice from the ways that we talked about in class. Like, we did this through class. So it was great to have that final unit for a little bit of encouragement. Now, to the next segment of this video. The results. What did I find? What did I find? Let me retry that scene all over again, because that would be a good idea. Okay. This part of the video is more informal than the rest of it, I promise. Actually, no. Pretty informal video. Just how it's gonna be.